All right, listen up, people. Strap in, because what I'm about to unload ain't some bedtime story. It's the kind of dirty, rotten, inside job bullshit that makes you want to smash your fucking TV and throw it out the window. Here we go again. Another day, another fucking cover-up, another dead conservative leader, and another pile of lies straight from the assholes in charge. Poor Charlie Kirk gets gunned down, and before the blood even dries on the pavement, these cocksuckers are already out there building the narrative like Lego bricks. It's like they had it written weeks in advance. You watched that Senate hearing? It wasn't a hearing, it was a circus. A fucking Jerry Springer rerun. Senators screaming, pointing fingers, acting like teenage drama queens, while behind a curtain, the real show's being run by the same dirty sons of bitches that have been running this country into the fucking ground for years. And let me tell you, behind that curtain sits something with a name that sounds like it belongs in a fucking freezer aisle. Arctic Frost. Cute name, huh? Sounds like a Slurpee flavor at 7-Eleven. But don't be fooled, this ain't no frozen treat. It's a federal fucking hit list dressed up with a pretty title. They cooked it up, approved it, and slapped it on 92 Republican groups. 92? And right there, sitting in the bullseye? Turning Point USA. Charlie Kirk's outfit. Now ask yourself, you think that's coincidence? You think it's a fluke that his name shows up in Whistleblower docs tied to Arctic Frost and then months later he ends up with a bullet in his chest? Come on, folks. Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. That ain't coincidence. That's a straight fucking line drawn from point A to point B with Kirk caught in the middle. And here's what really burns my ass. When the FBI hides evidence for 12 fucking hours, when media dickheads call a killer's text touching, when politicians smirk on camera while a conservative leader's family is left in shock, that ain't incompetence. That's not oops, we screwed up. That's a motherfucking operation, and the assholes running it ain't in some dark alley with ski masks. They're in suits, sit in offices, drawing paychecks off your tax dollars. Federal fucking badges, folks. That's who's pulling the trigger without ever holding the gun.
Vinny ain't exaggerating a fucking thing. The receipts are out there. Whistleblowers dropped them like bombs, and the stink is impossible to ignore. Operation Arctic Frost, and get this. It wasn't dreamed up by some rookie with a wild idea. It was opened, approved, and run by the same anti-Trump FBI hacks who've been stabbing this country in the back since Russiagate. The same slimy motherfuckers who twisted January 6th into their golden goose. These ain't mistakes, folks. These are patterns. And what was Arctic Frost supposed to be, huh? Just a little election matter? That's the line they tried to sell. But it ballooned. Oh, it ballooned like a fucking beach ball on steroids. It turned into a dragnet for conservatives, a laundry list of political enemies dressed up like an investigation. And the numbers don't lie. 92 fucking targets. 90 fucking 2. Now think about that for a second. You ever see 92? That ain't a typo. That's not a couple names we accidentally looked at. That's a fucking spreadsheet filled with conservatives they wanted to crush. The Republican National Committee? Tagged. The Republican Attorneys General Association? Tagged. Trump political groups? Tagged. And sitting there like a bullseye on a dartboard, Turning Point USA. Charlie Kirk's name, bold and underlined. And then, months later, Kirk's murdered, shot down. And the same bureau that had him in their files shrugs, goes, oh, wow, what a coincidence. Coincidence, my fucking ass. That's like find 92 sandwiches missing from the deli and every single one just happens to be pastrami. You don't need to be a fucking detective to know it ain't random. Here's the truth. Arctic Frost wasn't about protecting democracy. It wasn't about guarding the nation. It was about intimidation. It was about putting conservatives in the crosshairs, sending a warning shot and reminding every one of us that the Bureau ain't neutral. It's political as fuck. And if they can slap a target on Kirk while the cameras are rolling, what the fuck do you think they can do to nobodies like you and me, huh? That's the real message. They don't even need to hide it anymore.
All right, here's where the bullshit gets piled so high you need fucking hip waders. The official narrative, folks. These slimy prosecutors step up to the mic, puff out their chests, and wave around a couple text messages like it's the Dead Sea Scrolls. And what do they say? See, Tyler Robinson confessed. He wrote, I've had enough of his hatred. Oh, wow, case closed. Everybody go home, right? Give me a fucking break. That's the story they're shoving down our throats. Robinson the patsy. Robinson, the guy we're supposed to believe, snapped out of nowhere and decided to blow away Charlie Kirk. No connections, no coordination. Just a fucking random kid with a motive typed out on his phone. What a fairy tale, huh? Grimm Brothers couldn't have written that shit better. But here's the kicker. They expect you to believe it without question. No trial yet, no jury, but already the spin machine has decided. Robinson's the shooter, case closed. You ever notice how fast the story is ready when it's a conservative victim? Like boom, instant confession. But when it's anyone else, oh, suddenly it takes months, years, endless investigations. Funny how that works, huh? So let's be crystal fucking clear here. That's their story. That's the bedtime tale the prosecutors tuck the media in with. But me, I ain't buying it. Not for a fucking second.
Vinny's right. The media didn't just report the Robinson angle. They gift-wrapped it with a pink bow and called it a love story. No shit. ABC's Matt Gutman goes on TV and calls those texts touching. Touching. Can you imagine? A conservative leader bleeds out on the pavement. The supposed assassin admits in a message I had enough of his hatred. And Gutman stares down a camera lens and calls it touching. Touch this asshole. CNN, these fucking clowns, say, we don't have a motive yet. Are you kidding me? You've got the guy's alleged texts in black and white. You've got prosecutors reading them in court. You even got his mother saying he turned more political and more anti-conservative. But, nah, CNN decides there's no motive. Guess they were waiting for an Ouija board to spell it out. And then Montel Williams, holy shit, I thought this guy retired 20 fucking years ago. He comes out of nowhere, like some washed-up infomercial host, and says, this wasn't politics. This was just a young, love-torn kid in his first relationship. Get the fuck out of here. They turned a political murder into a Hallmark Channel special, a fucking Valentine's Day tragedy. The only thing missing was a box of chocolates and a Nicholas Sparks soundtrack.
And if you think the media spin was bad, wait till you hear this clusterfuck. The FBI hid photos of the suspect from director Kash Patel for 12 fucking hours. 12 hours. That's not a mistake. That's not a delay. That's a fucking decision. Somebody in that bureau looked at those photos and said, nah, the director don't need to see this yet. So for half a day, the head of the FBI is blind as a bat, while evidence sits in a drawer. You know what that is? That's sabotage. Straight up. Not from outside, not from hackers, but from inside the fucking bureau. And don't tell me it's protocol, don't tell me it's chain of custody. Bullshit. This was deliberate. Then you get the press conference. Kash Patel standing there like a deer caught in fucking headlights. No answers, no authority, just confusion. Why? 'Cause the poor bastard didn't even have all the evidence in his hands. His own agents kept him in the dark. And as if that wasn't humiliating enough, they go on Twitter, sorry X, or whatever the fuck Elon's calling it this week, and post that the suspect's in custody, only to delete it the next day. You call that law enforcement? That's amateur hour. That's Mickey Mouse bullshit. And it reeks of sabotage from the inside.
And sabotage ain't even the tip of the iceberg. Hours before Kirk's murder, Kash Patel gets slapped with a federal lawsuit. Not one, not two, but three former FBI leaders filed claims saying they were purged because they refused to carry out political errands. That's not me talking. That's written in a federal fucking court document. So now you got whistleblowers exposing Arctic frost, you got lawsuits screaming purges, and you got staff turning on their own director. That ain't a law enforcement agency anymore. That's a fucking gang war with suits and pensions. And look how it plays out. Whistleblowers risking their asses to tell the truth while the insiders play cloak and dagger games to keep the director looking like an idiot. That's not just dysfunction, that's civil war. The FBI is eating itself alive from the inside out, and the only casualties so far are conservatives who end up in the crosshairs.
And right before Kirk's assassination, Patel fires the FBI chief of Salt Lake City. Now let me ask you, what the fuck kind of timing is that? Critics are yelling it's shady as hell. Supporters claim her resume was inflated, more about DEI photo ops than real police work. Whatever the truth, the optics? Radioactive. You don't just fire a regional FBI head right before one of the most politically explosive assassinations in modern history. That's not a coincidence. That's a fucking bomb going off in the middle of the timeline. And guess what? They don't explain it. They just sweep it under the rug like we're not supposed to notice. Well, I noticed, and you noticed, and it stinks like a bag of dead rats.
Let's not forget, Robinson's own mother told prosecutors her son went political, went radical, turned anti-conservative. Prosecutors read his supposed text out loud in court. That's motive, right? Plain fucking English. But the media, they bury it. CNN's Caitlin Collins says, we don't have a motive yet. What the fuck are you talking about? You got the mother, you got the text, you got the prosecutors saying it in black and white. How much more do you need? A fucking billboard? They buried it because admitting it would mean saying out loud that Kirk was killed for politics. and they'd rather protect the ideology than tell the truth. So instead of honesty, we get stalling, spinning, and a bullshit love story about two kids and their touching texts. Fuck out of here.
You think this shit is new? Nah. This is the same script, different year. Remember Russiagate? Fake dossiers, wiretaps, years of media orgasms over bullshit. Remember January 6? Entrapment, agents in the crowd. The whole event twisted into the Reichstag fire they always wanted, and now Arctic Frost. 92 Republican groups, not 92 random orgs, not 92 mixed political clubs. 92 conservatives. This is the pattern. The Bureau ain't neutral. It's a fucking political weapon. Always has been, always will be, until somebody finally rips the mask off.
That's why we call it the shadow FBI. Because if the director himself can't trust his own agents, if whistleblowers keep revealing ops he didn't authorize, then who the fuck is actually pulling the strings? Rogue elements, sleeper cells, entrenched bureaucrats who think they run the country no matter who's president. You think these guys are loyal to Trump? Fuck no. They're loyal to themselves, to their little networks, to their pensions and power. It doesn't matter if it's Biden, Trump, Mickey Mouse in the Oval Office. They'll keep running their games. And the scary part? Nobody even knows how many of them there are. Could be dozens, could be hundreds, all hiding in plain sight.
And here's the gut punch. Trump's back in the White House, right? He swore to drain the swamp, clean house, rip the rot out by the fucking roots. But even now, under his watch, we're seeing this sabotage play out. That tells you just how deep this ship runs. Biden's leftovers didn't just pack their bags when they lost the keys. Nah, they burrowed in like fucking termites. They're dragging their feet, slow-walking reforms, leaking to their media buddies, undermining Trump at every turn. And the only reason we even know about Arctic Frost? Whistleblowers. Not the Bureau, not the brass, whistleblowers. The rank and file, who finally grew a pair and said enough.
Charlie Kirk's assassination wasn't just about silence. It was about sending a message. A warning. Shut the fuck up or you're next. That's what Arctic Frost really was, an intimidation op. 92 names on that list. Kirk's was just the one they circled in red. And don't fool yourself into thinking it stops there. You think Kirk was the only target? Fuck no, he was just the loudest, the most visible. The rest are still out there, looking over their shoulders. That's the chilling effect. That's how shadow ops work.
So where does that leave us? We gotta demand the whole Arctic Frost file, every page, every name. We gotta demand accountability for the 12-hour evidence concealment. We gotta demand to know why the media downplayed the motive when it was read in court. And we gotta demand to know if these rogue fucks are still sitting at their desks, running ops in the shadows. Because if we don't demand it, guess what? We'll never see it. They'll bury it in some locked drawer in Langley or Quantico, and 20 years from now, we'll get a redacted PDF saying, oops, our bad. Fuck that. We need it now.
If 92 conservative groups can get swept up in a shadow FBI op,
then none of us are safe. Not me, not you, not a single fucking one of us.
this ain't about one leader. This is about whether justice even survives.
So stay alert, stay loud, and stay the fuck free. Smash that like button, share this video, drop your comments. Don't let these cocksuckers bury it.
Because if we shut up now, they don't just erase Kirk, they erase the fucking idea of America.
And I'll be fucking damned if I let that happen. Not here, not ever. Now, if you made it this far, you already know the truth ain't coming from the mainstream bullshit. It's coming from right fucking here. So if you liked what you heard, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and most important, share this fucking video. They've been trying to silence this channel for months. Shadow banned, throttled, held back. All because we tell it like a fucking is. So if you want more stories they're too scared to tell, you gotta do your part. This is Chris Dallas and Celebrity Recreations bringing you truth, fire, and the best scripted shit on the internet, and we ain't stopping. Now go do what the fuck needs to be done. Sub, like, comment, and share this bitch. Vinny and Lester out.